What's going on, everybody, and welcome back for episode 22 of Hit the Books podcast. We're really excited to bring you the big game, Super Bowl 56 this week. What's going on, guys?
Not much. Had a pretty good week last couple weeks betting on the NFL. Tough conference championship with the spreads. Had a couple props I was liking, but excited to get back to it for the Super Bowl. Mackie, how you been?
Been all right. You know, I had a good betting week last week. Off the book, obviously. Haven't been doing too well on the book, but excited to get going. Hopefully, gonna have a good Super Bowl weekend.
We're gonna start off by recapping this the conference championship that happened now about a week and a half ago on Sunday, January 30th. The first game being the Cincinnati Bengals going to Kansas City. Big headline of this one was Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes. Mackie, me and you having the Chiefs in that game. Jesse, I believe you had the Chiefs too, did you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, all of us actually losing on the Chiefs. That was a tough loss for all of us. Mackie, you had the first half spread -4. I had that off the card, which was a good pick, but we obviously won on that. I had the full spread on the card. You did not, so you actually ended up a winner in that game. You did have T. Higgins on the under on the receiving yards on the card, which was a tough beat. Getting that one really long pass, that was your killer there.
Yeah, he absolutely killed it. Wasn't expecting that, but, you know, win some, you lose more.
Yeah. Obviously, we all know the halftime score being 21-10. The Chiefs had every chance to put 3 points on the board right before half to make it 24-10. You'd think that put that game out of reach. And going into halftime, they were unable to put the points on the board. Mahomes said in the postgame interview he got a little greedy, trying to get an extra touchdown on the board there before half to take a very, very commanding lead to be up what would have been, what was it, 23-10? Yeah, it would have been 30-10.
21-10.
It was, yeah, you're right, 21-10 at half. They could have gone up 28.
They should have thrown the ball into the end zone, so it either stopped the clock or it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Why are you throwing the ball out of the end zone and hoping Tyreek Hill gets into the end zone?
Yeah,
I mean,
they're jamming him on the goal line.
Eli Apple made one good play in his entire career, and, you know, he has to flaunt it on Twitter, but,
Yeah.
you know, that was just a stupid play call, you know, and Chiefs don't really mess up like that a lot, and it really cost them this time. I think that's what changed the entire game, I think.
Exactly, and obviously we all know what happened in the second half as we're going to be talking the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So Bengals with a huge second half in that game, winning the second half completely, obviously outright with that huge deficit going into halftime. They won the second half 14-3, going in over to force the overtime, and then McPherson with the big kick in overtime. Best part about that game for someone that had the Chiefs, when they won the coin toss, the whole stadium acted like they just won the Super Bowl. And then Mahomes throws the interception in overtime, and the rest is history.
Honestly, there's more credit to that defense than anything. You know, we saw it last week or 2 weeks ago with how hard it is to stop Mahomes when he gets the ball. Bills did I assume they did everything in their power to, you know, stop him, but you couldn't do anything. In the Bengals game, it was a little different. The momentum was obviously going in the Bengals' way, whereas in the Bills game, it was going in the Chiefs' way. But you don't expect the Bengals defense to make that play, and they came up big. They gave Joey B a chance, and obviously he's going to get those 20 yards to get McPherson in the field goal range and bring them to the Super Bowl. So
yeah,
shocked everyone, but props to them.
Yeah, they're here. They're still in the game. They're still in the playoffs for good reason. They definitely came to play in that second half. But let's jump over to this NFC Championship game, get a quick little recap on that. We had the 49ers visiting the Rams. My play on that game, I had the 49ers with the 3 points, the plus 3.5 actually. That half point ended up being my savior. Jesse, you joined me on the 49ers plus 3.5. Mackie, you were all over the Rams in that game, if I'm correct, were you?
Yeah, I was all over the Rams that game. I had them.
You had the first half
spread that didn't hit. I had -3, I think, off the card, or if I had it on the card, it pushed regardless. But I also took them like money line 3 different times in the middle of the game, so that all hit. But
yeah,
the only thing I missed was the play on the actual card. So
yeah, it's been tough sledding for really all of us. As I mean, it's easy for me to say down like 0.17 units. I think I am sitting here right now, but obviously I'd like all three of us to be plus. It's a lot more fun when we're all winning, but some of us, taking some, not even some tough plays, but it's fair to say the Chiefs -6 or -7 was a little bit of a square play last week. Seeing, the Instagram videos and all the Twitters, a lot of the sharp money was on the Bengals with the points last week, and even to win outright. So just a tough beat there. It was tough for me to get a bet against Patrick Mahomes, and I guess for some people it was even tougher to bet against that Bengals team, who's now 5-0 in their last 5 games and 5-0 against the spread. So the 49ers, they looked like they had every chance to come back and really win that game, and Jimmy G showed his true colors there with the last couple minutes with the last drive as he threw that interception. But let's not forget Jaquiski Tartt had the game in the Super Bowl in his hands and just dropped that interception to seal the game. It's just a tough beat for the 49ers as a team. Obviously, like I said, I had them +3.5, so I ended up winning. When he threw that interception, though, they were down 3 when he threw the interception, and I thought the Rams were just going to kick a garbage time field goal and fuck my spread there. But obviously they didn't. They went into the victory formation, and I couldn't have been happier in that instance. So I ended up going 1-1 on the card last week. But tough game for the 49ers, as I said. Tartt dropping that huge interception, what could have been interception. So now we're looking at a Bengals-Rams Super Bowl. So I think it's going to be a great game. I expect a lot out of this game. Last year we had the high-flying Chiefs versus the Bucs. 2 very high-powered offenses last year with the new-look Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady going down there. So this year we're going to get some fresh faces with, obviously, the Bengals, who haven't been there in 30 years. And the Rams have been there recently, only putting up 3 points in their last Super Bowl visit against Tom Brady's Patriots. So I'm expecting a lot out of this Super Bowl. I think it's going to be a really good game. We'll get into the spreads and stuff like that as to what we like for this game. But I'm really expecting a big game from both teams, and that's being not even ignoring the fact that we now have had back-to-back home Super Bowls for a team. Tampa Bay getting it last year, and the Rams obviously getting it this year. So we've had 56 Super Bowls. It's never happened, and now it's happened 2 years in a row. So expect a great game this Sunday. I'm really excited for the Super Bowl.
I'm also real excited. I agree with you on almost all the fronts there, Huff. I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff to come out of this game. Joe Burrow versus Matt Stafford. See you on Super Bowl Sunday.
Alrighty, and we're going to start this game off before we get into the spreads and the money line and stuff like that. We'll start with everyone's favorite Super Bowl prop. We're going to get right started with what color Gatorade do you guys see being poured on the winning team, if any? There's been a couple stretches over the past couple years where teams actually didn't even dump Gatorade, and I don't know. In that situation, does the bet push?
I mean, if I lost a bet because there was no Gatorade pouring, I'd be pretty pissed. I think most books would definitely do something there.
Push that. Yeah. I would hope they would. If there's no color.
I mean, if you're betting illegally, you're probably shit out of luck. But
Yeah.
I bet you some might have an option for none.
I wouldn't be surprised.
If there is an option for none, then yeah, you're just shit out of luck. But
yeah, because I saw. Let me pull up what I saw on Instagram the other day from Barstool. The past Gatorade colors for the past so many years. Let me see here. It has now hit none twice in the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Super Bowls. I don't know what the exact odds are for this year's colors on the Gatorade. This isn't normally a prop bet that I usually love to take.
The Giants threw purple Gatorade in their fucking Super Bowl.
That was the biggest long shot.
Oh my god.
But going into this one, looking at the odds on this, you're gonna have to just Google it.
That's funny.
All right, the odds I got for Gatorade color this year are orange at +130, lime, green, or yellow at +300, clear or water at +175, blue at +600, red at plus 1,000, and purple at plus 12.
Why is red plus 1,000?
Purple's always plus 12,000.
Always.
Or 1,200.
Always. I don't know why purple's such a underdog.
Purple fire Gatorade color, if you ask me. Is light blue considered blue? So they just throw in both blue Gatorades in one. There's some value packed in there. You get two colors in one pick. My pick on this one, I'd be going yellow or orange. That just being said, obviously the Bengals, this is totally ignoring their team colors, but I think it comes into play with what they like on the sidelines. Really, it's what does your best player drink, and that's probably the one that they're going to grab. Or the most full Gatorade tub left on the bench.
Do you think there's different color Gatorades in every single thing?
On the benches?
Oh my God, so it comes down to like whatever one they
Whichever
grab?
Yeah.
Oh,
But
that is
dude, I guarantee
crazy.
every single color is on the side. There could be a water one. That's why there's clear water. They could just grab the water one and do it.
I thought they were okay.
It's not like they just drink orange Gatorade.
I was
You know
gonna
what
say
mean?
because like halfway through the game you could be like, wow, this team has orange Gatorade.
Yeah.
Because they buy the tubs of like the mix.
Yeah.
They're sitting over there making it. Probably in the Super Bowl, they have them make it in the fucking injury protocol tent so no one can see it on it. But yeah, I don't know. In that situation, I'm probably leaning, like I said, yellow or orange. Just I'm not going to be betting on this. I love a good prop bet for some plus money, but this is a stretch in every sort of the way.
Yeah, I might throw a little on red. I don't know why I'm feeling it.
What were the odds on red?
Plus 1,000.
Yeah.
Why
plus
is red
1,000?
1,000?
I like blue, 600.
Is there a
Who am I
shortage?
kidding?
Is there a shortage in like red Gatorade supply that we don't know of?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. COVID should really shut down the red Gatorade supply. Yeah, as far as the Gatorade color, I'm leaning yellow or blue. Or what did I say? Yellow or orange? I don't even. That's what I mean. I don't even have a pick on this because I'm not too hot on it. But
Yeah, you usually don't bet on this, but I actually might. I might have a pick, even on the pod. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't. Do that. I would not
full
do
unit
that.
red
Full
Gatorade.
unit.
Recover for
That
the whole
would
season.
that would recover me.
Yeah, and then some. You'd
I'd
up
be
like
I'd
4
be up
units.
like three and
You're only
change.
down like 5, I think.
I thought I was down 6 and change.
No, I think it's 5 and change.
I'd be up 4 and change. That's a whole game changer.
But at that, do you feel like if you were to do that on our card to recover from your whole season, would you rather take a big plus money Gatorade bet, or would you rather just hammer a first touchdown with a full unit?
I don't know. I figure I would do Gatorade just because I don't.
Put it all on the line.
Just
I'm
because
honestly
like
thinking
you
I
want
might.
to, because you want to be logical about like a first touchdown, but like at the end of the day, there is no being logical about it. It's just a draw of the cards. If you're Gatorade, you're just straight gambling. And at that point, I'd rather straight gamble than try to use my knowledge that I don't really have.
Yeah, we sit here and talk football every week, and obviously we've seen on the card how we do with our picks. I'm pretty much even, and the rest of the guys down. But I kind of agree with you there. If you're gonna just go for it, you might as well just think like, I truly have no clue. Like I kind of like the position I'm in. I don't really like anyone. I would just look at it Sunday morning. If I want to bet it, I'm just going to throw probably $20-$50 on something just because, you know what I mean?
To get that feeling, just
Yeah. The
Last
red,
last
the odds
second
on
bet.
red there's value in the red.
there's so much value, but I feel like it's a trap. They know something we don't.
You got to look back at maybe what color got dumped on Orgeron at LSU when Burrow won. If you know what I mean, like have some sort of idea into this. Maybe
You can definitely do some insane research.
maybe that's the color Joe Burrow likes, and they grab that one. But I definitely think, say
Dude,
either
the
team.
players definitely they definitely plan something. Like there's no way they don't talk about this.
Yeah.
It's such a highly talked about thing. During practice, they're probably yeah, let's grab the purple one and just fuck everyone up.
And it's my logic on this is like you said, do you think there's just one Gatorade color on the sideline? No. I think there's obviously
There's definitely
15
more
tubs.
of ones.
Yeah, there's
than
more
others.
red than purple, or there's more blue than yellow. But obviously there's more water than anything on the sidelines, but they could easily just go over, dump a pack of powder in it, right? But say the Rams or Bengals in this situation. Say they're up 12 and with 15 seconds left. They have the ball, but the Bengals or Rams are using all their timeouts to stop the clock just because it's the Super Bowl. They have time on the sidelines to dump some powder in that water, but what color will it be? The trainer literally could just grab a random one, being like, "This is going on the ground anyway."
They could plan it. That's what I'm saying. They tell the trainer right before, if we're about to win, just they have a jug ready. They probably don't even use the jug the entire game. They just have a jug that they're ready to throw on the coach.
I just love. Now I'm starting to think, yeah, fuck it, take the long odds. What's the favorite? Plus 120, 130.
Plus 130 is orange. Clear or water is plus 175.
I don't see any value in
water plus one. What are these odds this year? What's going on?
Yeah, it's
Maybe
usually all
clear's like the
500.
new-
They know something.
It's always 500 or more, I feel like. I've
Okay,
never
show
been
me
on
that
that.
list again. There was not one color that was
No.
plus 100.
No.
It was all plus
Even
300.
even the years okay, blue, the year the Patriots won was plus 150. But and after that, the year the Broncos won, it was orange plus 200. So team color does come into play.
Wait, that does.
There's a couple
wow.
times the team color hasn't come into
It
play.
actually
The Bucs,
does. The Bucks were
blue, and the
plus
Seahawks were
650.
blue. Or the Seahawks were what color? Orange.
the Giants were purple.
Yeah, so there's 3 at least out of the last 10 that the team color had nothing to do with it. 2 were water. So you got to think 5 out of 10 times, 50% chance it's one of the team's colors that win.
That's why orange is so high right now.
Because orange is the Bengals.
Yeah, but what about and then
Yellow
blue?
is the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
favorite behind water, correct?
I don't know, man.
Maybe no one likes blue Gatorade.
Yeah, I mean, I like blue Gatorade.
I love blue Gatorade.
I guess my opinion doesn't really come into play here, but
I don't know. I'm a purple Gatorade guy. I don't know if we're going to be seeing it tossed on Zach Taylor or Sean McVay, but dude, I'm right there with you on the red Gatorade. Fuck it. Let's go red.
that's what I'm saying,
Let's just
dude.
squad ride red Gatorade.
Gotta happen. That plus 1,000 is due to hit.
Yeah, it is. Hasn't happened since the Giants with the purple. 1,200. When's the last time red has been poured? It hasn't.
No way.
It is on that list. It hasn't happened in the last.
Who the
10
fuck?
years.
Because honestly, who the fuck drinks red Gatorade? Like,
Yeah, it's so basic.
Makes your mouth all red.
yeah, exactly. It stains. Yeah, I might fade this red. Oh my god, it has not
Fade
been.
Backtrack. Fade red. There will not be a squad ride on red.
Do not pick red.
Purple, lock it in plus 1,400.
Yeah, I'm right there. Purple. Value. There's much value in blue. I feel like Joe Burrow looks like a blue Gatorade guy, and obviously if the Rams win, it's going to be blue.
I mean, it's basically like the flip of a. Actually, it's not even like a flip of a coin. It's just kind of like flipping 5 different coins in a row the same fucking time. But
I know it is a coin flip. The coin flip at the beginning of the Super Bowl, as we're going to talk about next. Do you guys think it's going to be heads or tails, both at minus 104 on FanDuel?
I'm team tails. Tails never fails. Heads last year. We've seen a lot of the trends on the coin toss. Jesse, I know you got a couple trends on the coin toss, but
you know it's a weighted coin.
yeah. It's a heavy coin. They got the Super Bowl trophy on the one side, and they have SoFi on the other. That's not a normal quarter. I don't care what anyone says. It's not.
There's definitely some weight trajectories.
Oh
there
yeah, it's
that
a
are,
big ass coin too. It's like this
yeah,
big.
bro. It's probably
pretty
like
big. It's
probably
got
looks
some-
like a football too.
Flip's not even. There's just so much that goes into it. I got the NFC has won the coin toss 19 out of the last 23 times. Heads all time. Heads has hit 26 times. Tails 29 times. Heads longest streak is 5. Tails longest streak is 4, and that has happened 3 times. And in the last 10 Super Bowls, Tails has had the edge with 6 victories. So 6 out of the last 10 have hit Tails.
Yeah, I'm on tails.
I'm a Tails boy.
You know, I rode heads last year. I won $200 before the game even started. Not even a polish on my entire game. I won like
Bucks bet.
$1,200 on that game.
It was
But,
all over the Bucks last year.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I picked heads last year. It's kind of hard to go against what won you money, but I mean, it's a coin flip, so I feel like you just got to go back and forth, right?
Yeah, especially when you're on the right side of it.
Again, no logic. We're just being dumb degenerates, and
Yeah, none of these picks are gonna be on the card, but
just for the sake of
I'll
conversation,
have some money on the coin flip.
I will
against Tails.
definitely have serious money. Probably $250 on the coin flip.
I'm gonna be going with tails.
But I
Would you guys be
don't
upset
know.
if I put blue and Tails on my card?
No,
No.
I would actually
I think
appreciate it.
I think there's value there.
I would appreciate it.
Because think about it, if you win the coin flip, it covers if you full unit the Gatorade toss or the Gatorade color.
Yeah, or you miss both of them and you're down 1.5 units just
Yeah,
like
quick.
that.
Not even quick, but because the Gatorade's
Yeah,
at the end and the
well.
coin flip's at the beginning. But yeah, losing the coin toss is such a tough thing. Or if you lose a coin toss going into the Super Bowl, it's just a tough thing. Like,
Yeah, you just don't even watch the game. You already lost. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna lose.
It's a tough situation.
Clive bet the opposite.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, I'll be going tails on the coin toss, and like I said, I like the value of blue on the Gatorade if you're looking for a pick there, but I would only bet that if you're really really into that kind of stuff, and I like to bet, and I probably won't have any money on the Gatorade.
For myself, I don't know. I think Blue Gatorade's kind of intriguing, plus 600. And I'm going with tails on the coin toss. I might put tails on my card. I'm not really sure. Let's see how I'm feeling.
I mean, I feel like you have a better chance on the coin. Take this out, but I'm like it's literally a coin toss. Like you have a 50-50 shot.
You like to gamble. This is for you.
Alrighty, now we transition into our Super Bowl segment. Let's start with our guests. We got two great ones this week. Ace and Tony. Both have been on the podcast once before. We're happy to have them back. Tony, say hello.
Hey guys, what's up? Happy to be back. It's going to be a good Super Bowl.
Take it away, Ace.
Hey boys, happy to be back here. Looking forward to getting some good picks in for the big game.
Love it. Super Bowl 56, SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles, California. February 13th, 6:30. We got the Los Angeles Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Rams coming in, favored it at -4. Money line at -198. Bengals, money line at +166. And the over-under at 48.5.
All right, question for you guys. So there's this guy on, I think it's DraftKings, whatever it's on. He has a $100. I think he placed at the beginning of the season. There was a $100 bet to win $10,000 on the Bengals Super Bowl, to win the Super Bowl. Cash out right now is at $7,500. What would you guys do?
I'll start us off here. In that situation, having the guts to put $100 on a long shot bet like that, obviously you're not expecting too much of it to win. Basically, like everyone knows, it's a 1 in 1,000 odds on that hitting. So in that situation, me leaning towards the Bengals, I'm probably going to cash it out and take some of that money and put more down on the Super Bowl than I initially would. But that's just my 2 cents on that. I definitely understand trusting your gut and letting it ride. How about you, Tony? What would you do in that situation?
I'd definitely take the money out. I'm taking my profit in that situation.
Ace, how about you?
Oof, I think I'm going to be the only one that disagrees here. You got Joe Burr, Joe Shiesty. You've been riding with him all season long. He goes into the kingdom and does the unthinkable. Beats Patrick Mahomes in his own house. I think you got to let it ride. If anything, you might hedge it with the Rams a little bit, right? I mean, you could do that.
You gotta
just to make back what you put down.
You gotta at least hedge to the point where you can't you gotta make some money.
Yeah, you'd at least have to.
Exactly.
If you're gonna hedge, you gotta at least win $5K.
You think? I mean, that's not. I mean, you could do it like that, but I'd just ride with my guys if I got it. I'd definitely be making sure I walk out on top though.
Jesse, what would you do in that situation?
I don't know. I think I got to agree with Ace. I think you got to ride it. I think you got to keep it. I think that extra cash is worth that. I think because Bengals got it in them to take it away.
All right, let's get right into this game. Enough with the little the little side chat, futures bets. Let's just have a couple quick takes on the game. We're gonna get into some player props, more of the actual lineup of the game, what we're looking at on the board. I'll start us off with a quick trend where you can make some money pretty quick here. Anyone have any interest on this opening kickoff to not be a touchback? And I will get into why I like that question, and it is because the opening kickoff to not be a touchback in the last 20 Super Bowls is 18-2. It's a pretty hot trend if you ask me. Tony, what do you think? You have any interest in a play like that, a little prop?
The stats don't lie, I guess. I guess I would follow you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, 18-2. I initially, when me and you were talking about this last week, I said, do you have any interest in that on the plus money? It seems like a lot of these sports books are starting to catch on to that trend right now, as I've seen the money dropping on the plus side for the kickoff to be returned, not for obviously for a touchdown, but just not a touchback. The 18-2, I mean, obviously they knew about it, but clearly with a lot of these two elite kickers, more McPherson on the Bengals side than Mac Gay for the LA Rams. But Ace, you have any interest in that, 18-2?
No, that's definitely something I'd actually stay away from. Although that's a good trend to follow, these two kickers have big legs. McPherson, we've seen him do it all year long, like you just mentioned. I know Matt Gay missed a 40-something yard field goal a few weeks ago, but he's got a pretty strong boot as well. And plus with these two coaches, I know McVay's been there once, so I'd look back and see what he did against the Patriots last time they played. I don't even know if they had the initial kickoff, but it's kind of a tough question to answer with Zach Taylor in his first year as a coach, what they're going to end up doing, what philosophy they go with. I feel like these guys play by like metrics and stuff like that, so they're going to look deeply into how that's going to affect the game.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, most players, if you're returning a kick to start a Super Bowl, you're gonna want to like start off with a bang. Like you're not gonna want to let it hit the end zone and just call it a touchback. So I feel like if the kick is in the end zone and it's not out the back of the end zone, I feel like 90% of returners are gonna take that out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. The returner definitely wants it, but my thought is they're going to want to boot it out of the end zone.
Which
here,
McPherson probably will end up doing.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a bet I'll be taking. Just more one. I saw that stat, and I absolutely had to bring it to the podcast this week. But let's get into more of the actual lineup of the game. Like I said, with the spread being 4 for the Rams, getting -4. The Bengals obviously receiving those 4 points, and the Bengals with plus money on the money line. We'll get right into this trend I have. Teams entering the Super Bowl with an against the spread record of 500 or worse are 1-5-1 against the spread and 0-7 straight up. And that does come into play here as the Rams are 500 against the spread this year, going 10-10 this season. Obviously, we all know the Bengals. I don't know their exact record against the spread. I know that obviously they don't fit into this stat line because them being such heavy underdogs in most of their games this season. Does that affect anyone's take on this game? How about Mackie? You want to start us off here?
Yeah, I mean, you could follow a trend like this, but this is just year in year out. Just like I don't know. I don't really feel like a trend like this is something that you could follow into like something that you would take in a game, something like that. Because I bet you most of the time the team isn't favored as well. The Rams are favored here. Most of the time, a team that's 10-10 against the spread is going to be an underdog in a Super Bowl game. So,
Tony, you have any? Does that affect your decision? I believe you're leaning more Rams since the last time I talked to you.
Yeah, no, that doesn't really impact my decision at all. I mean, I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, but I think his luck's coming to an end here, so I'm all Rams.
Ace, I don't know. I really don't know what side you're leaning. Obviously, you're saying to leave the futures bet ride. You're all over all the Joe Burrow nicknames. I'm gonna take a guess here and say you're leaning more to the Bengals to come out on top here.
See, in that case, with the futures bet, if I had it, I would let it ride. Just you have to. You've had it going all year.
I feel that, yeah.
But no, I'm actually going the other way with the Rams. There's too much talent on that roster to go to waste. Plus, like I said before, McVay's already been there. He knows what it takes to win the Super Bowl. I mean, he lost to a Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. I mean, he's going up against a rookie coach who's in his first playoff run of his career. And that stat you brought up before, I mean, you said they're 10-10 against the spread, so you really don't know which Rams team's going to show up.
Exactly.
I guess that's the way I'm looking at it. Because I've seen them blow teams out throughout the year. We've all seen that. But then they have these close games where you're like, what's going on here? So it'll be interesting. I mean, if I'm going one way as of right now, I'd definitely buy the point and get it to 3 and ride with the veterans over in Los Angeles.
Yeah, Tony, I believe you kind of given me a very similar take on that. You're going to be taking like a -3, -2.5, maybe put it with something else, correct?
Yeah, I see a close game here, so I'm going to lower it a little bit. I think it could be a field goal deciding this thing.
You don't think it'll be coming off the toe of an Evan McPherson like all the previous playoff games have?
I don't think so. I think that offensive line is really going to be a weakness for the Bengals. I think Aaron Donald's going to eat.
I can't disagree with that. We were having a little bit of chat before the game on what we're thinking about before going into this episode, and me and Mackie were talking. He said the same thing about the offensive line for the Bengals. My take was if the Titans can get 9, I think the Rams can beat that, if not tie it at least. Just another quick little stat going into this game. Obviously, we all know the Rams are the home team. They're going to be wearing white jerseys in this game. Bengals are going to be wearing their black uniforms. The team wearing their white jerseys has won 14 of the last 17 Super Bowls. So that's definitely going to be in play for all of the Rams fans out there, especially our two guests, both leaning towards the Rams.
We also have a home Super Bowl yet again. So you
Back-to-back years.
You can't bring that out of play. Like the Rams are literally playing a home game in the Super Bowl.
Do they have any fans though?
I guess there might be more Cincinnati fans in LA right now than there are Rams fans.
This is just a question for everyone, I guess. Did you see the Super Bowl pep rallies for the two teams? The Bengals had theirs at their stadium. Place was obviously
I saw
sold
that.
out, going
Oh
nuts.
my God, going
The Rams,
insane.
the Rams was at a high school field, and it wasn't even that packed. Did you see that?
I didn't see it. No, I saw the
my God.
Bengals
Did
though.
either of you see that, Ace or Tony? Did you guys see those videos?
I
No,
did
I
not.
gotta look at it. What is it, like 10 Rams fans snapping out, and like 2 of them are Matt Stafford's relatives?
I saw a meme. The video was real of the Rams. It was at a high school field in L.A. It was just like a one-sided bleachers thing. Obviously, all the cheerleaders and the teams out on the field. It literally looked like the high school team going to States. I saw a meme of Jalen Ramsey running out, and instead of the audio, they just put crickets over it. It was so funny. There was not a fan behind him because they filmed everything from the side where you can't see the fans, so it literally looked like he was the only one on the football field. It was hilarious, but
Why would they do that at a high
dude,
school football field?
I don't know. I guess they couldn't get in SoFi, or they were worried that no one was going to show up to SoFi.
Yeah, I guess like it'll look better with 100 people at a
High school field than
Yeah.
100 people, and they'd be like, "Is this practice?" Like, all right, I'm ready to talk a little bit more about the game right here. Jesse, you want to give us some of your trends going into this game?
Absolutely. So I got some Super Bowl trends. I got some trends for each of these teams. We'll start off the Super Bowl trends. Teams that have more forced turnovers have only won 6 of the previous 55 Super Bowls straight up, and are only 8, 36, and 8 against the spread, a cover percentage of 18.6%. So the Rams have 23 and the Bengals have 21. So the Rams fall into that stat there. Since Super Bowl 13 in 1979, 26 teams have scored 30-plus points in the big game. Those 26 teams have combined to go 26-2 straight up and 23-3 against the spread. So if we think one of these teams is going to score over 30 points, take them to win. Super Bowl 36 marks the first time the NFL's championship game was played in February. It has only been played in January once since then. The AFC hopes the game remains in February moving forward, as they are 12-7 in Super Bowls played in the month of February. And for my final Super Bowl trend, underdogs are 5-1 in the last 6 Super Bowls with a male-led halftime show. Dr. Dre leading the halftime show with Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and Mary J. Blige. I really like that stat. I really like it. I've been looking at it for like a week now. Some team trends. Rams are 2-9 against the spread in their last 11 games versus AFC teams. Rams are 13-5 straight up in their last 18 games as the favorite. The Bengals have covered 7 straight and are 9-2 against the spread in their last 11. And the Bengals are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games as the underdog. Take it away, guys.
All right, I'll start us off here talking about the actual game, getting the 4 points for the Bengals and the money line being a nice little plus 166. I'm sitting here right now. I'm leaning Bengals, and I'm not too ashamed to say it. Obviously, all the hype around Joe Burrow right now, but that's not even really why I like the team or why I like my pick right here. But I'm just leaning more Bengals. Like everyone keeps saying, it's a team of destiny. Like I just keep telling myself I can't see the Bengals winning the Super Bowl. I can't see the Bengals winning the Super Bowl, so that's not exactly why I think they're going to win the game, but I think they're here for a reason. They, like Ace said earlier on in the podcast, they beat the Chiefs now twice, not only throughout the season, they beat them twice within a month, both games falling within the month of January, coming back from down 21-3 in Kansas City. That's no fluke of a comeback there. I think this Bengals team is different than we've seen, obviously over the past 30 years with all the years of losing that team has had to endure in that fan base, but there's not too many injuries on the Bengals side of the ball that I'm looking at that I'm too iffy about. Like, say, if they had a big Jesse Bates out of the lineup in the defensive backfield, or even a Mike Hilton. But most of their defense is there. They're going to be in LA ready to play. The only one that's questionable, the big name that's questionable for the Bengals, is going to be C.J. Uzomah. Obviously, we all saw him go down against the Kansas City Chiefs. He did not practice today, but Bengals coach Zach Taylor said he's still optimistic about the tight end being ready for the Super Bowl.
He did come out and say that he's not missing this game. I don't really know how much say he has in the final word of him playing, but if it's up to him, he's playing with a torn ACL, whatever the hell is wrong with him.
Yeah, he could just be doing a lot of blocking, or vice versa.
He'll be playing in this game.
Yeah, I see a situation where he plays in this game. On the Rams side of the ball, obviously we know Robert Woods is out for the season. Darrell Henderson is out. He has a good chance to return for the Super Bowl, according to the young McVay. But Got a lot of questionables. You got to assume all these guys are going to play. Whitworth questionable with a knee injury, the old man. Jalen Ramsey, the lockdown corner, he did not practice last Friday with a shoulder injury. I haven't heard too much about him not playing, so I'm expecting to see Jalen Ramsey in the defensive backfield for the Rams. He's projected to be all over Jamar Chase, but another one, Van Jefferson, the third receiver for the Rams, he's questionable with a knee injury. Cam Akers, questionable shoulder injury. He appears to be absent from a third straight practice. This is as of last Friday. Expects the running back to play in the Super Bowl against Cincinnati. So I just think there's a lot of question marks on the Rams side of the ball. That being said, that's not really why I'm leaning towards the Bengals in this game. I'm not too sure if I'm going to take them to win or give them the points here, but I just think the fact that this Bengals team has overcome a lot of adversity this season. Obviously, no one expected them to be here. I had a Super Bowl bet futures that I placed back in August, Chiefs versus Bucks, and obviously we see how that went. The Bucks losing divisional round to these Rams, and the Chiefs losing to the Bengals in the conference championship round. But Tony, I want to get your 2 cents on this as to maybe why you're leaning Rams, what you like, other than maybe that offensive line being such a big factor going up against Aaron Donald in this Rams defense.
I just think the Rams are a loaded team this year. I mean, they brought in all these big names. I mean, we know Aaron Donald. They got Von Miller. I just think it's a nasty defense, and I think they got weapons all over the place. They got a bunch of running backs. They got 2 star receivers. We saw what Cooper Kupp did this year. So, I mean, I just think they're going to be hard to stop. I think Rams easily. I think worst case scenario, Rams by 3.
Yeah, if I was to make a prediction on this game, I just think the Rams are more all around team. They got the defensive firepower on that line. That pass rush is just out of control for that Bengals weak offensive line, as we saw against the Raiders, giving up 9 sacks. I don't know. You could say all these things about the Rams, and then you could just say that the Bengals have Joe Burrow, who's playing out of his mind with all the momentum he has going in right now with Jamar Chase. They can't be stopped right now, and you could say their Cinderella story comes to an end here, but I said that about the Chiefs game too, and then they came out and surprised me with the Chiefs too. I don't know. I don't see any value in betting in the Bengals here. I would go Rams -4.
Yeah, Ace, I'm going to jump right in real quick before we hand this off to you for your take. But, yeah, Mackie, last week, or 2 weeks ago, me and you both had the Chiefs with the points. I remember FaceTiming you at halftime. We were making fun of Beal for betting the Bengals money line. He had the Bengals money line and the points, obviously 2 winners. But I was looking really good with this -6.5. I lowered it from 7 to 6.5. I had 100. I think it was 100 to win whatever it was. I think I got a -125. So it was like just over $80 or just under $80. I literally could have cashed out at halftime. Even up 11, they were going to let me cash out and only take $11 off my winnings. Believe me, I wish I would have done that. But Ace, so let's get your 2 cents on this game, and we'll hand it off back to Jesse after you.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of things you have to look at going into this game. I mean, it is the Super Bowl, but 2 very, very different teams. First off, it perplexes me how the Bengals even got to the Super Bowl. Like, they were blessed to get into the playoffs by a depleted Ravens roster, underperforming Browns, and, like, the Big Ben Steelers, right? So then they get in there, and then you don't expect them to beat these teams that they do, especially with such a bad O-line, a young defense, a young skill positions, a young coach, and they do that. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, is Joe Burrow that guy? Is he, like, special? He's going to do it all himself? And I don't think so. I mean, he'll do it eventually, but I don't think this is the year. Like Mackie said before, the Rams playing at home, that's so crucial. Like, you're in your stadium. You don't have to worry about traveling and none of that. Like, it's a very familiar atmosphere and something that's unfamiliar to a lot of these players. And then when you go down the roster, that Rams roster, besides quarterback, which is crazy to say considering some people think Matt Stafford was an MVP candidate or one of the top quarterbacks in the league, but that's the only position that I really think, maybe that and kicker, that the Bengals outweigh the Rams is at quarterback. So, I mean, I'm going to go with the Rams here. Like I said, there's too much going their way. McVay's a mastermind, and he's been there before. You got guys like Odell Beckham Jr. in the lineup now, him and Van Jefferson behind Cooper Kupp, the best receiver in the league. I don't know how they cover all 3. You got Higbee. They have that trio of running backs who was at Akers and Michelle. I think they have Henderson Jr. too. I don't know if he's still active. But the only thing that I'd be worried about with the Rams is, you saw it last week, their secondary depth kind of depleted. They have Eric Weddle, who just came out of retirement, playing so many snaps. Like, that's definitely something that the Bengals can look to take advantage of, especially with all those weapons on the outside. You have Boyd, Higgins, Chase. I would say Uzoma, but we saw that, like Mac said, he said he's going to play, but he's going to dress. But is he really going to play? Probably not. So he's not going to be a factor. Yeah, it's going to be all up to Joe Shiesty to do it all himself, and I don't think so. I think in his first Super Bowl, I don't know if he can. I think the Rams can put up a lot of points, and it's going to be tough for him to answer all day.
Love it, Ace. For myself, I think there's a lot up for question here. Are the Bengals defense going to be able to hold Cooper Kupp and guys like him to touchdowns or no touchdowns, rather just field goals? Is Joe Burrow going to be able to play well against the Rams defense? It's a tough one. I think the Bengals are just a well-balanced team, and I think there's a lot going their way, but I think it's in a good manner, and I think the +4 is going to be the smart move to go, because I think there's going to be a stupid last-second field goal, overtime field goal, something like that, something that just messes everything up. So, Bengals money line if you're feeling real confident, +4. I think +4 is the way I'm riding.
A little bit of the over-under on this side of the board right now. The over-under sitting at 48.5. I don't have too many trends about the over-under in the past couple of Super Bowls. That's not usually my favorite bet. It's more just for sake of the conversation. But I see this being a lower scoring game. I think that 48.5 is going to end up being a sweat. I can see like a 24-21 final score going either way. So I'm definitely leaning towards the under 48.5. I think it's a slow start for one of the two teams, if not both. I can see a lot of punting to start the game. Maybe like a 10-3 score at halftime, something like that. But as far as the over-under goes, I don't know if it's probably not going to be on my card, but I'm definitely leaning under. How about you, Mackie?
Yeah, I think with what I'm predicting, with the Rams controlling most of this game, I think that this game definitely goes under, because that's how the Rams defense is going to have to prosper. But I don't know if this game gets out of hand at the end. If Joey B puts up a few touchdowns real quick, it could very well go over. So I definitely do like the under. I probably won't touch it, but yeah, it's kind of a toss up.
Ace, what are you thinking here?
I'm definitely riding with the over here. That's something I looked at with the props. I mean, the anytime touchdown scorers, it wouldn't hurt to have a decent amount of those in. I think that both teams put up above 20 points for sure. I think that the Rams are definitely going to put up over 30 points. With the addition of Odell Beckham Jr., it's so tough for teams to stop them now, because they're focused on Cooper Kupp, and they're focused on getting pressure on Matt Stafford, who sometimes crumbles under it. That's the one thing I'd watch out for. But they convert on third downs. You see Odell making those sideline catches, third down like snags. There's just too many weapons. And going back the other way, like I said before, I know that the pass rush is going to get through for LA, but Cincinnati has those playmakers where it's going to be they might have to fight their way back into the game, but there's going to be a lot of points flying around.
I definitely can agree with the going over. For someone like I said now a couple of times myself, leaning Bengals here. I just think in my situation it's tough to take the Bengals and the under. But my only take on why I'm really leaning towards the Bengals here is obviously we know the Rams have been there. A lot of their defense is elite, and they've even been there with the former Super Bowl MVP Von Miller on the outside linebacker position. There's just one thing for me that's not really selling me on this Rams team, and that's I can just see the Stafford of early on this season or throughout November where he struggled a lot to get the ball downfield. And obviously we know the elite receiver Cooper Kupp, and even like Ace said now, Odell Beckham Jr. I don't know. I just see maybe an early turnover, maybe two from Stafford. They get to him, and it's not a throwing motion. It ends up being ruled a fumble. Maybe a questionable call. We always have one of those in the Super Bowl that can really turn the tide of the game. But, yeah, I just think in this situation it's tough to take the Bengals and the under because I think if the Bengals are going to win this game, they're going to have to be keeping up the pace and show that they can put up points on this elite Rams defense. With that being said, I definitely am leaning more towards the Bengals than that under pick, but I definitely, as I've said now a couple times, not an over-unders guy. I haven't been one all season. I don't think I've had one on my card all season, but That 48.5, everyone keeps saying if you like the under, you should wait on it until right before kickoff. It's only going up. So if you're Ace, I don't know how much you bet on the over-unders of games. I don't believe you're too into that. I could be wrong on that. But everyone's saying if you like an over, you should snap it in as early as possible, as this game did open at 46.
Yeah, you're right. I usually don't throw on that too much, but I do agree. That seems so low to me. I'm surprised.
Up until I got one thing to say. Up until these playoffs, I was all there for the Matt Stafford slander, and everyone said he was overrated, and I never really thought he was that good. I think he also had an overrated regular season, but he has tremendously excelled in these playoff games, and he's honestly proved that he's been waiting for this moment for 13 years in Detroit?
A lot. And I'm a Georgia fan. I like Georgia football, and I usually support their players going into the pros. He's a Georgia alumni, football alumni, I should say. I don't know if he actually graduated from there. That's a whole different point. But in this game, I just don't see too much coming off the arm of Stafford. I think if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to exploit the Bengals' defense in different ways. Maybe a lot of short passes where the Bengals kind of know they're going to play their cover 2 or man defense and get back in the way deep and kind of prevent the Rams from throwing the ball deep to Kupp and Van Jefferson. I think you're going to see a lot of OBJ in this game. I think a lot of slant routes coming out. The one prop that I did like before we get into the props is I saw Odell set at 5 receptions. I think that's going to be a hit. I think he goes way over. I think he gets around 7-8 receptions with how heavily guarded that Cooper Kupp is supposed to be with Mike Hilton and even on the side of Jesse Bates. So this the Bengals defensive backfield has been. They've gotten the job done all season. Like I said, coming back against the Chiefs, absolutely shutting down Tyreek Hill. I'm leaning Bengals here, and I don't know if I'm going to give them the points or take the money line, but there's a lot of question marks around this game that I'm just not sold on yet, that I can't make my pick yet. But as far as that goes, I'll be waiting until Saturday when the card comes out to make my pick. Ace, we got a couple more that we're going to get into here. Now I'm gonna load up the FanDuel app and get the exact odds on everything that's current right here. We're gonna start to get into more of the player props of the game. We'll start out with the anytime touchdown scores, or actually we'll start out with the first touchdown. Ace, do you have any take on the first touchdown? Do you need me to read you some odds off, or you kind of know who's gonna be favored and what you're gonna like?
Yeah, I've looked at the anytime touchdown scores for a decent amount, so I kind of know who's going to be favorited for that first touchdown score. The only thing that's going to keep it interesting throughout for both of those types of props is the way that these coaches play the game. I mean, are they going to keep it close to the vest and play conservative, or are they going to continue the trends that they've been doing all year? And that's what I think they're going to do in this game, is stick to their guns. So I could definitely see, I know everybody's going to say this, I could see Cooper Kupp scoring the first touchdown in the Super Bowl. That'd be pretty easy. That's what I'd definitely go with. On the Bengals side, I wouldn't look at anyone. There's nothing. Maybe Joe Mixon. That's who I'd guess. And there's a lot of anytime touchdown scores I have in mind, but we can get to that when you want to.
Yeah. I actually already have a bet in place. I was up some good money last week, and I found a little play on DraftKings. They do the little same game parlays for you where they build them out. One that I actually ended up placing. It's a very long shot, plus 3,500 odds. It's a Cooper Kupp first touchdown with a Jamar Chase second touchdown. I put $100 on it to try to win 3,500. I mean, that's one where you see those odds. If you like it, you got to take it. That's my kind of scenario where if I saw that and I didn't take it, it probably would hit. But I'm going to go into the game with that in my bet slip, as I have it already placed. I have for about a couple days now. So I definitely agree with you going Cooper Kupp on the first touchdown. And for someone that's going to be rooting for the Bengals in this game, I'm not going to go too crazy thinking they score the first touchdown. They get all these anytime touchdown scores. I do think the Rams get on the board first, and that's the only thing that's shying me away. If I'm going to bet the Bengals, I might want to – it's just scary because you take the chance of if the Bengals do go up, the odds are going to drop heavily, and it's going to be more of a pick 'em game, even if the Bengals can stick around plus 110, 120. I do see Cooper Kupp getting in the end zone first. That was my play. Couple weeks ago in the Cardinals game, in the wild card game, I hit on Odell. I don't see a situation where Odell gets in first here. Not that he won't be targeted throughout the game. Like I said, I like his receiving prop, but first touchdown, and like I said, a lot of people are going to be saying it, but I like Cooper Kupp. He's only sitting at 490 on FanDuel. I see him at 550 on every other app I have, so I'm definitely going to be using one of my other apps, as we are not sponsored by FanDuel. So definitely going to be shopping smart and getting the better odds on that. So Cooper Kupp 490, Cam Akers plus 650, Joe Mixon plus 700, Jamar Chase plus 800, Odell 900, and T. Higgins plus 1,200 to round out that top six. Mac, you have any interest in any of those plays or anyone that's not on that board that you like?
Yeah, I think if you're gonna go with a Bengals player, you're gonna go Jamar Chase. I don't see the value in Joe Mixon. I think Jamar Chase gets the ball a lot more, or in the red zone a good amount. Who else? No, T. Higgins plus 1,200 for good reason. I don't really see him getting in the end zone first. Cooper Kupp, obviously the obvious answer here. I'm surprised Sony Michel's not up there. Him and Cam Akers just kind of split carries, especially in the red zone. They give the ball to Sony Michel a lot. So
I like Sony Michel too.
Sony Michel, he's sitting right after T. Higgins. He's the one that he's sitting at number 7. He's going to be tied with Tyler Boyd at plus 1,300.
Yeah, but I don't understand why Cam Akers is plus 6. I mean, I guess he is the primary back, you would say, but multiple times last weekend, I guess you could say 2 weekends ago, they were in the red zone and Sony Michel was out there and Cam Akers was on the sideline. So
yeah, I mean, and it's been seen all season as the Rams get down near the goal line, they definitely sub out Akers and bring in Michel. So and that being said, I don't see a situation where Akers kind of breaks a long run. Maybe the Rams are sitting at the 40, 30-yard line of the Bengals and kind of gets in for a 25-plus yard rushing touchdown for the first touchdown. Not to be said that he can't do it, but usually the Rams, at least every time I've had one of their first touchdowns, they're sitting kind of right around the inside the 10. They got the first or second and goal, and you always see Sony Michel, the former Patriot, sub in, and you can't score the first touchdown if you're not on the field. And again, that's not a guaranteed fact that they bring in Michel, but that 1,300, I agree, it should be sitting a little lower.
I'm thinking, I mean, it's a tough one because, like Mackie said, Cooper Kupp is the easy answer. I think Jamar Chase is going to put it in. I think he'd be a smart move for an anytime touchdown. I believe he's like plus 165 or something along those lines. Plus 110. I think he's a smart move for an anytime touchdown. I know we're talking about the first touchdown, but Cooper Kupp or Jamar Chase, depending on which team. Do you think it's going to be a score on the first drive?
No, I think the first drive's punt, 100%. I don't even care who gets the ball. I don't think this comes out to I don't think this is a fast start to a high scoring Super Bowl. I think this is more of a defensive game, if anything. At least for the first quarter, let them get a feel for it. You got 2 quarterbacks that have never played in the Super Bowl before. You got a lot of nerves going through their body. So not 2 new teams, but 1 new team, 1 new quarterback. I could just see a slow start to this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning the same way. I think it's going to be a slow start. Maybe hit a first half under. Not sure what it's sitting at right now, but I definitely am liking the fact that the first drive to be a punt. Like I said, don't really know who gets the ball first. I hate to say that I'm liking my chances on that plus 3,500 bet. Obviously, the odds are very long. To get the ball to your number 1 receivers, obviously they're going to be guys that are covered, but you know each quarterback's looking at their number 1 guy every play, seeing where he's at on the field. So as probably 70% of the Rams plays are drawn up for Cooper Kupp, the other 20 going to Odell and maybe 10 just for whoever else is on the field, of Van Jefferson or Tyler Higbee perhaps. Not too sure if he's a full slate to go in this game. I heard he's had some injury issues over the past couple weeks. We'll get into these anytime touchdowns, or actually, quick little side note, Higbee is questionable. McVay, when asked Monday whether Higbee's knee will be ready to practice in the coming days, McVay replied, "I don't think so." So I think if Higbee's going to play in this game, it's going to be more of a last-second decision to get him on the field. But let's start to look at some of these anytime touchdown scores. We'll get into that right now with the favorite obviously being the Triple Crown winner, Cooper Kupp, sitting at minus 165. When this game opened up, Cooper Kupp started out as a minus 200 anytime touchdown score. So with all the odds going up, Jamar Chase opened at minus 105. He's now plus 110. and Akers was a minus 120, I believe. So all these odds are actually going up. That tells me one thing, that the bookmakers think this is going to be a lower scoring game, where the aspect of the touchdowns are going to be kind of harder to come by for these teams, either going either way. So, but I think that if you're looking for a little parlay boost, I think Cooper Kupp definitely gets in the end zone. Obviously, I think he's going to get in first, but definitely see some value in the 165. If you're going to put it with something else, I don't know if I'm laying 165 to win one.
Huff, what about your defensive touchdowns? The Rams coming in at plus 600 and the Bengals coming in at plus 700.
Regardless of if it happens, there's no value in a defensive touchdown in a game. I just can't. You gotta bank on so much to happen.
Oh, yeah. But surprisingly, I think there's more value, not even just because of the odds in the Cincinnati defense. I think the likeliness of Stafford to throw an interception here, he has the heavier odds to throw the interception in the game. Last time I checked, he was sitting at minus 164 to throw a touchdown, or throw an interception, sorry. But minus 172 for Stafford to throw an interception, and minus 132 for Burrow to throw an interception. But that's not to be said that a receiver can't fumble the ball, a tip ball. So anything can happen. But yeah, I'm kind of with Mackie on that. That's not a pick I'd be taking. It's almost more if I have the balls to think a defense is going to score a touchdown, it's almost like I'd rather just take it first for the good pay. Don't you agree?
Exactly. You're gonna come out of the game and start it right away. Like that. If you're gonna.
I don't think so. No shot. Because the thing is, you got to look at it this way too. If you're saying that the only score you think is going to be defensive is going to be a cheap one early, then why wouldn't you just cover yourself by getting a cheap one late on a last ditch effort?
I agree with what you're saying there. So.
All right. Well, then you'll bet it either first touchdown or last touchdown. You don't bet any time.
No, I take it anytime. No, because
you're gonna take LA Rams plus 600 anytime defense plus 600 anytime over Stafford plus 800.
What's Joe Burrow?
I actually really like Joe Burrow's odds to get in the end zone here.
I like Burrow better than Stafford.
Anytime.
I like Burrow to get in. Better than Stafford in the Rams defense, but I like the Rams defense to get in more than Matt Stafford.
No, come on, dude. What about a 1 yard QB sneak? Like they just need to get in the end zone.
And the Rams do run a lot.
How many
of
of those has Matt Stafford had this year?
What'd you said?
I feel like I couldn't, unless there's a good number that you found. I don't think I've seen him do that very much. Usually they get the push and get it in with the running back.
But like, what if they do?
Yeah, I mean, what if?
You're on the inch yard line. The obviously like the smart thing to do is just run a QB sneak to get 3 inches. Whatever.
I don't know. I just feel like the Rams games I've watched this year, they've ran it in. They have a good push with that O line. They usually run it right in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Me and Mac here just reaching for some big pay. You can't hate.
My argument is that there's always somebody with better odds that you can get over a defense or a defense. Like you just can't bank on a defense.
Well, the good thing is, isn't it defense special teams though too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're gonna bank on a kick return or a punt return. That happens less.
No. I'm just adding more of the reason why I'd take it over Stafford.
Okay, yeah, you're not wrong.
The last.
I like your argument.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what both of you are saying. But I don't know. I don't see too much value in the Rams sitting at 600 on the anytime. Like I said, if I see
I feel like McVay's the type of guy that like will force feed Cam Akers a touchdown before he gives Matt Stafford that 1 yard freebie.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, McVay is definitely that type of guy. Just go old school, fucking run the ball up the middle.
Yeah, just to get his ACL torn guy that free touchdown.
But yeah, I mean, with the anytime, there's a lot of value all over the board here. Like I said, a lot of these odds going in the upward direction is, like I said, I think that means the bookmakers are seeing an under here, but can't prove that. But yeah, I think Burrow is sitting at plus 650. I think there's a very likely chance, not very, but a good chance that he kind of scrambles out and you see Mr. Joe Burr sneak in the end zone on a little rush play. Maybe like a second, third and goal. The whole play breaks down and you see Burrow have to make a play with his feet.
Joe Burrow on the bootleg, I could see him getting in with that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Like an 8-yard rush, something like that.
Yeah, 5 to 8, something like that.
Yeah. So if you had to pick one player from each team on the value side of any time touchdown score, can be Cooper Kupp minus 165. Like I said, if you see value, you see value. Who do you like for both teams?
I like Van Jefferson Jr.
Van Jefferson for the Rams.
Yeah, Van Jefferson for the Rams for sure.
For any
I mean,
time or
there's-
first?
Anytime.
Wow.
Plus 300. That's good odds for a receiver.
Yeah. He targets a lot. I mean, they have three. They're going to be looking at Cooper Kupp. They're going to be looking at Odell Beckham Jr. and Van Jefferson. How many times have you seen him this year with like a 60-yard bomb walking down the field? Right.
Yeah. Now, is aside for the Bengals on an anytime touchdown score, who do you see value for wearing the Tiger stripes on Sunday?
I mean, some interesting value would be. I didn't think about this until like yesterday actually with Uzuma saying he's going to play. To me, that means he's just going to dress. Honestly, that's what I think. I don't think he plays. So who's their backup tight end? Because Joe Barr likes to use his tight ends in the red zone. Is it Drew Sample?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that
He has
guy
the same
probably
odds.
has a very high odds.
He has the same odds as Ozuma, so take that for what it's worth on taking Ozuma anytime.
Yeah, so I wouldn't take Ozuma any props. You know what would be interesting? You look at him for the under on everything.
Yeah. Let me see what his receiving prop set at as we'll get into that stuff further on, but just for the sake of this conversation, he actually doesn't have
Because I like Drew. I mean, that's just more of that's a very long shot bet is Drew Sample. But if I were to look for some value on that side, someone like what's his name, Samaje Perine,
Yeah.
someone that spells Joe Mixon in the red zone, vultures those touchdowns. He got one last week or last game for them, I believe.
Yeah, he got their first team touchdown. He got the one to make it 21-10 at the end of the half, and we all know what happened after that. So he definitely started that Bengals comeback there with that nice little long. I believe it was a reception. If I'm not, am I right on that? Saying it was a catch.
Yeah. It was a pass behind the line of scrimmage,
Yeah.
like right at it.
Yeah. He broke a couple.
And the other thing is you have to remember Joe Mixon, like throughout his career, he always gets dinged up. I could see him on the sideline for at least a series.
Yeah. And they have to rely on Perine in the passing game to get the ball downfield.
Especially if they fall behind late, you're going to see Perine in the backfield more often than not.
You guys are really reaching here.
Hey, you're reaching for some extra
The
value.
Super
I
Bowl.
mean,
You got one
obviously
game left. We're reaching all over the board.
if like the people that I really think are going to score, obviously Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham Jr. is definitely going to score a touchdown.
I really
Joe
think
Mixon,
that,
I like.
I really think Odell gets in the end zone here.
Odell is definitely getting in the end zone in the Super Bowl on national TV. He's dancing at halftime.
If they win, he gets in the end zone.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
If they lose, Matt Stafford's going to have an abysmal game.
You think?
Yep. I don't think the Rams losing a shootout. Their defense is too good. They're not gonna give up. Like, I think the Rams could blow them out. It kind of reminds me of like
You
what's his name,
think-
when Cam Newton had that MVP season and he went to the Super Bowl and everybody was all hyped up and they played a significantly better team. And got
You're
rolled.
right. It does kind of remind you of that. But you think that in a shootout, like the Chiefs Bengals game, Joey B is going to lose that game?
I think so because I think that the Rams secondary, or not even the Rams defense would make a play they'd make a play that the Chiefs didn't make.
I think if the Rams give Joey B a chance to win this game, he's going to take that chance. If it's a close game, I think that he.
Yeah, and
Do you think Jalen Ramsey gets an interception?
honestly, no.
No,
He doesn't.
I-
He doesn't come up in big games. He hasn't throughout his whole career.
He's honestly, you might hate me for this, but he's honestly the most overrated. He's the corner. He's the most overrated corner of all time. I swear to God, he's the most.
Oh, he's pretty good though.
What?
You know what he is? He's a ball hawk.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's my thing with defensive backs is you were such a good wide receiver that you couldn't catch the ball, so you transitioned over to the defensive side of things.
Honestly, cornerbacks are literally just wide receivers that didn't make it.
Couldn't catch the ball consistently.
Okay, yeah, or catch the ball.
Yeah.
They're just less
giant.
I
athletic.
mean, I'm gonna like I said, Ramsey hasn't been known to come up in the big game. I don't know. Well, he was on the Rams. Was he? He was on the Rams against the Patriots, right? Or was he still a Jaguar?
He was still a
No, he
Jaguar. I
played-
think we beat
he
the
played-
Jaguars
he-
to get there.
He played Tom Brady in that AFC Championship game.
Yeah, you're right. And
Yeah,
Brady
that's
lit
what
him
I'm
up.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the game. That was the game when Jalen
When
Ramsey
Blake
said,
Bortles, it was almost Blake Bortles versus fucking Nick Foles in the fucking.
"Yeah, that
Super
would have been a
Bowl.
brutal Super Bowl." And the craziest thing was that wasn't even the year that Brady won one.
Brady won it the year after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever see that
you
picture
missed
of
the
those
Rams.
four?
Those
Those
13
four.
to 3, whatever it was.
Yeah, you ever see that picture of those 4 quarterbacks all walking down like towards the stadium?
Bortles,
It's Brady,
Cousins.
Bortles, Cousins, and Nick Foles. And the caption is, "The craziest thing is Brady didn't even win it this year."
He almost did. It was almost a Bortles-Foles Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was the year the Steelers lost. That was a home playoff game. The Jacksonville Jaguars came in and just absolutely dogged my Steelers. But back to this defense side talk for the Rams. Obviously, they know they have the weapons. This is a super team that they paid for. They definitely paid all the big money for the big names, like I said. Now Von Miller. It's just, and like you said, Weddle coming out of retirement. They had to get him back as they had the hole at the safety position. I think Burrow, back to what Mackey said, in a shootout, I like Burrow's chance to get them in field goal range. And in a dome, McPherson is not missing.
That being said, I don't think it's going to be that close of a game. I think the Rams cover the spread, but I'm just saying if it does come down to that, I think Joey B comes out on top.
Yeah, like if I had to think of the game, like by shootout, I don't mean like back and forth shootout. I think that the Rams go ahead early. I think one of the bets I'd look at is like a race to 10 Rams. That's a good bet right there.
Rams first half -3. I'm
something like that's interesting.
-3.
What's the first quarter line? That's something to even look at. So I think the Rams, you're at home in the Super Bowl. Like you should come out hot.
The thing about a first quarter line is that it could either be like 3 or it could be 1, and it's basically the same thing. Or it could be 2.5, and it could be 1. It's the same thing.
First quarter spread is sitting at Rams -0.5. Obviously, the Bengals +0.5. The Bengals +0.5 is -136. Rams -0.5 is +112. That tells me they think there's going to be a tie.
They think it's going to come out slow.
That obviously the tie is what could kill you. But I think at home, I mean, Joe Burrow hasn't even seen the Rams yet this year. And he saw the Chiefs already earlier in the season. He put up, over 30 points. They saw him again, but it took him a half to get going. On the road against an even better defense, probably one of the best defenses he's seen all year, I don't think he gets going right away.
He did play that Pittsburgh defense twice this year.
Lit him up both times.
He's figured out some serious defenses. He's just a tough player to bet against. Like he's an elite player. He wins games. Like he's a winner.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have the Bengals in that game against the Raiders. Mackie, you had the Raiders. Jesse, you had the Bengals in that game. I just had a couple props. I've learned my lesson betting against the Bengals this year, and I'm at the point where I'm going to either live or die with them at this point. I've lost too much money betting against them. Last week, the Chiefs. The week before that, I'm blanking. Who'd they play in the divisional round?
Divisional round, they play the Titans.
Titans. I had them against the Titans. That was I knew I bet on them at one point during the playoffs. Damn, I was going to say we all just blanked there. I knew it went Raiders, someone Chiefs. I knew they didn't play the Raiders. They lost in the first round. So
I did bet on them when they played the Titans, though. I did have them.
That game. We'll go back real quick. That game against the Titans. I mean, everyone keeps saying how bad that offensive line is, and I mean the adversity that Burrow was facing that game, getting sacked 9 times, the field position that he was faced with. Obviously, it got him off the field at some points, but even in that Chiefs game, it'll be a 3rd and 9, and you'll see him scramble for 11 yards. I mean. Obviously, everyone knows how pass-heavy this Bengals offense is, and the defense is going to be dropping back, playing a lot of man defense, cover 2. I think in that situation, that tells Burrow, I'm a young guy, I might not be the fastest guy in the world, but I can still get around, and if I take a hit, I can get back up. But obviously, you got to think he's thinking, last year tearing his ACL, it doesn't seem that he's having too much remorse from that injury. He looks pretty good running the ball around right now. So in that situation, if I see the Bengals have a long 3rd down, I mean, within give or take like 3rd and 10 or shorter, I mean, like it should be, unless he takes another sack like he did in all those Titans games or all those Titans drives. I mean, I'm not knocking out Burrow to get a good amount of rushing yards in this game. Like I said, I like him to get rush one in the end zone. As far as the rushing prop for Burrow, where he's going to be sitting at, let's get official number here, 10.5 yards. I love the over on that. Anyone else agree with me, or is anyone leaning more towards Burrow under 10.5?
I'm definitely with you on the 10.5 over 10.5 yards for Joe Burrow. I mean, if you're betting on the Bengals, though, obviously it'll be tough. At the end if he's kneeling out some yards at the end that could screw you.
We saw that with Pat Mahomes 2 years ago.
Doing that one play. If you think about it, that's just one first down he has to convert himself. So if he can buy some time with his feet, pick up one first down during this game himself, then you should be good.
Yeah. I don't know, Jesse. What are you thinking? You think he can get more than 11 yards or 11 yards?
I absolutely think he can get more than 11 yards. He runs the ball at some point, and he gets those little 1 and 2 yard plays, and like when they go for it on fourth down and stuff, he's gonna get 11 yards, I think. Right?
Back to what Ace said. Ace did have a good point there. I always forget about in the victory formation, you're gonna lose 2, maybe 3 on the double step back.
Dude, Mahomes lost like 8 or 9 because he was trying to waste time.
He was doing the double take.
He was trying to waste time, and he was running around back there, and then he would lose like 6 yards, 7 yards.
That's the thing about taking a quarterback rushing prop is unless it's like Lamar Jackson where he could have the chance to break a 50-yard rush, that it's not even a touchdown. But Burrow's odds here for 10.5 minus 110. I like the over on that. Ace, I'm not gonna lie, what you said is kind of scaring me away from making that a pick.
I just feel like it's a number that's like too good to be true. Like, why is it only 11 yards? Why is it only 10.5?
I think because of exactly what we're talking about right now.
Yeah,
One reason that he might actually be a good bet for 10.5 yards though is, like you've said before, Joe Burrow has been carrying this team. He goes that extra length. He's like the ultra competitor. So he's going to grind it out if they're losing late in the game. He's going to make sure he stays in bounds to take that hit to gain an extra yard. He'll do it himself if he has to, I think.
If he's in that situation where he has nothing open and he needs 11 yards, he'll get 12 yards. Like that's just the way he plays late in games. You saw it against the Chiefs, you saw it against the Titans. He just extends plays and he ultimately gets a first down on third downs that he needs. So, I feel like over 10.5 here is an easy bet, but I don't know. I feel like everyone's going to say the same thing. And when does Vegas ever lose, So,
yeah, talking about the quarterbacks, we'll get right into the passing props. We got Burrow sitting at 276.5 and Matt Stafford 281.5. So, Ace, we'll start with you. Which quarterback are you leaning more on their over, or do you like them both to go under? What are you thinking with those numbers? 276 for Burrow and 281 for Stafford.
Well, I'm just going to stick with my trends that I've been saying all night. I think that it's going to be an over game, and I think they're undervaluing the talent that these two quarterbacks have in their arm. I mean, they could both put up 50 yards with one pass, right? They're not going to rely on at least I don't think they're going to rely on a mix and run game too much. Like I said before, I think the Rams come out. I think they could have a chance of blowing them out. I'd look at an alternate spread, but I like them to both throw for 300, hit that century mark, whatever they call it.
Honestly, I agree. I think that even with the low-scoring game, they can both still throw for over 250. What is it, 270, 276, 281? Is that what the
276 and 281.
Yeah, I think that they could definitely both go over that. I think Joe Burrow should definitely go over it regardless of if he wins this game or not. Matt Stafford, maybe not. He could I just feel like his defense could put him in situations where he's not going to need to get 70 yards to get downfield. So his numbers might not get up that high, but I think Joe Burrow should definitely get over this 276.5.
Going back, we'll lean right into the player passing touchdowns. I mean, I think these quarterbacks are set right where they should be. As Burrow set at 1.5 with the heavy minus on the over at minus 154. And Stafford's actually sitting at 2.5 with the under being minus 200. Do you guys see any value in those picks? Mackie, we'll start with you.
No, not really, because it's a Super Bowl. Like, we've seen how many times we've seen teams do something crazy to get into the end zone. Like, it's not very easy to get into the end zone. So, you could do you could see a Jamar Chase passing touchdown at some point. Like, when you're inside the red zone, there's no telling what's gonna happen. I don't know. I think that it could be like a rushing touchdown, or there's just so many things that could happen that could avoid them from throwing a touchdown.
Jesse, what are you thinking on those?
I don't think I'm going to touch it, and I don't see any value. Minus 154 for over and a half for Joe Burrow. Under 2.5 for Matt Stafford at minus 200. I really don't think there's any value there. Is Joe Burrow going to put up 2 passing touchdowns? I don't really know. Not if it's an under.
Yeah, I think the only value here is maybe taking, if you see Stafford kind of balling out in this game, like I said, which I don't, I do see some value in his over 2.5 to get one to Kupp, one to Odell, and like a sneaky one to his tight end or something. You know what I mean? Akers out of the backfield, Michelle out of the backfield. He's known to use his running backs in the passing game. Yeah, as far as the passing touchdowns, I'm not seeing too much value in those. But as far as the passing yards, I'm leaning on the over for Burrow and the under for Stafford just to make a couple picks there. But we're going to use that to go right into the receiving props. Who are these yards going to be going to from these elite quarterbacks' arms here? Just to get into a couple, we'll name the two big receivers and maybe the running backs. We got for the Bengals, Jamar Chase, 78.5. T. Higgins, 69.5. Cooper Kupp, 105.5. And we'll go Odell, 62.5. And we'll go right to the running backs here. Joe Mixon, 24.5. And Akers, 16.5. So I'll start us off here. I got a little trend about this one with the receiving props. Joe Mixon has not gone under on his receiving props since Week 16 of this NFL season, being 5-0 in the last 5 weeks, obviously, going over Week 17, 18, wild card, divisional round, and last week or 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs. So I guess we'll start with Mixon. Does anyone see any value in Mixon over 24.5 receiving yards?
Keep in mind the Bengals are 5-0 in those games, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're going to win this game, he could be a big part. Passing game.
I'm not huge on Mixon to catch the ball out of the backfield. I see his work truly coming in the ground game.
Yeah, I don't see much value in these picks. Cooper Kupp sitting at 105.5. It's such a high number, but it's so doable for him. We've seen it game in, game out. He gets 100 plus receiving yards. So I don't know who's to say this.
I like Cooper Kupp too a lot. I mean, you have to think he goes over 100 in the big game. He's the receiver of the year.
Yeah, it's not even like he's playing like best defense he's played. Like probably actually one of the worst.
He's playing Eli Apple.
Probably one of the worst defenses he's played. One of the worst matchups he has. So,
they're lining Hilton up on his side. They're not going to deal. Zach Taylor is not going to line up Eli Apple across from him.
He's going to.
I hope we see that.
He's going to have to guard him at least sometimes. There's so many weapons on that team.
Yeah. And Mackie, we were sending the memes back and forth.
Jr. feast on the apple.
What'd you say?
You gonna let Odell Beckham Jr. feast on the apple?
I think you have a better chance at that than letting.
Were they Giants teammates?
Yeah.
They were, right?
Is he in the boat pick?
That boat pick is so cursed.
Is he in the boat pick?
That was so funny because I'm from New York, obviously, so like all my friends growing up were Giants fans, and they were like so cocky about that shit. And right after that boat pick, that franchise hit the fucking hell. They hit hell.
That was such a funny take.
I bet you Eli Apple wasn't cool enough to be on the boat.
Yeah,
he wasn't invited to the boat.
He wasn't invited to the boat. No shot.
But one that I'm looking at, Jamar Chase, obviously they're going to be heavily guarding him, so I'm more leaning towards maybe like a Tyler Boyd over 39.5. They're going to have to get that ball somewhere, and Higgins has been shown that he can drop the ball in any given play. He's had his chances throughout these playoffs to get in the end zone and dropping the ball a couple games in a row and consistently throughout the course of these playoffs. I mean, if you're going to cover Chase, maybe even double cover Chase, I like the Pitt alumni to get in over on the 40 or the 39.5. The over sitting on that minus 114. So, like I said, Burrow's got to get the ball somewhere. I do like Mixon's over, but not going to be leaning more towards that. I like that stat. He's 5-0 in his past 5 games, but none of these receiving props are really jumping off the table at me. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, Huff, what's the receiving prop set at for Odell Beckham Jr. for receptions?
Receptions?
Yep.
5.5. When I saw it last, it was sitting at 5. The 5.5 over is now sitting plus 116.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I do like
That's
that.
That's a go-to guy in crucial situations like third down, red zone. Like they're going to scheme the ball to 13.
3. OB3.
OB3. Oh yeah, he's wearing 3 now. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you can't reach back like 1-3 anymore if you don't wear 1-3.
Right. I mean, hey, he's still got the 3 in him though. You can still see that juice.
You think that he wasn't going to be one of the players to change his number? Really? Out of he needs to fucking.
He had to get that LSU number.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Was he 3 at LSU?
He was 3 at LSU, and Landry was 80. That's why Landry was 80 in the pro. That's probably why
Andrew said
Odell
he's
picked
gonna-
13. He was like, all right, if I can't be 3, I'll just be 13.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess I'm riding with Jarvis Landry then.
Who's not in this game?
Yeah, he's not in this game, but he's riding with the Rams.
Do you see him join the press conference or media day?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I'm not
Go
gonna
get
lie.
a Super Bowl. Shut up. You just mad you're not there.
All that hate against the Browns for Odell, and it was his fault. Now look where he is. He's in the big game. But
Wasn't his fault.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Oh,
that
I
guy
thought you
named
were-
it's that guy named Baker Mayfield.
Guy that can't throw a football.
Real quick before Ace signs off with us, we're gonna look at these rushing props. Mixon 60.5, Akers 65.5. We already said Burrow 10.5, Stafford 5.5, and Pirine 2.5 for the rushing yards.
Your boy P-Rod.
My boy, me and Ace's boy
Ace, your
Pirine.
boy
Can
Pirine.
he get 3 yards, Ace?
Can Joe Mixon stay healthy a full game? And my answer is still no. So I think he can.
So you're leaning on the over for Pirine at 2.5.
I wouldn't be betting on it, but if you had to ask me if I think he gets 3 yards, I think I could get 3 yards.
I can't agree more.
You know, you need the opportunity, so
Right?
he could definitely
Mixon goes
get.
down. Someone's got to tote the rock.
He could.
But I do really, if I had to pick one of those rushing props, I like Joe Burrow the best probably. We've seen him. You all remember that highlight last year when he went through spinning through defenders for like one of his first career touchdowns. What was a 20-yard run?
Yeah, who was he playing? The Jaguars.
Yeah, whoever though. But that just shows you this guy's willing to do whatever it takes. I think he'll put his life on the line to get extra yardage when he needs to.
Especially being from Ohio, you heard the interview. Him, what does this mean to you being from Ohio? He's the most cocky guy that's also like calm at the same time. Like he's not like Jalen Ramsey or any of these big name guys where he's going to tell you I'm the greatest thing that ever happened to this team. I'm the best. I'm the best. He just gives like subtle cocky answers that tell you it's almost more confidence instead of cockiness. Like he definitely doesn't lack confidence in any sort of the way of the word, but I mean
He's basically just saying check the stats. Like,
exactly.
look, check his resume. Like
Yeah.
it's good enough to speak for itself.
Joe Burrow believes the ball does not lie, which it doesn't.
Exactly.
Joe Burrow believes in himself.
As far as these rushing props, I'm probably leaning Burrow over, and I don't know. It's a tough situation for really either of these teams. They go down like we've heard and we all know as they go down, the passing prop or the passing yards start to come more into play to get that clock stopped. Yeah, I think my favorite out of those lists is Burrow. I think he ends this game with around 23, 24 rushing yards. I really do. And that's before all the kneels if he does end up getting a chance to win this game in the victory formation. Then I like my chances to maybe sitting around 16, 15 yards and still hit that over. Alrighty, our guests are going to sign us off here. Tony, you're going to start us off here, sign us off, and then we'll lead it over to Ace.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me. I'll be back on soon, and I will leave you with this. My favorite player prop is Joe Mixon under 62.5 rushing yards. I think the Bengals get down early and have to resort to passing. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Ace. Thanks for coming. You got anything you want to say to the fans before you get out of here? We'll get your picks and stuff off you guys going into this weekend. If you want to make a card, I'm gonna have you guys on the card, obviously. If you want to sign off here before you head out, let us know what you have to say to the people.
Yeah, first off, I just want to thank you guys for having me, and thanks to everyone for listening. But yeah, let's look forward to a good Super Bowl here. One interesting pick for anybody else out there. I think Doritos will have the best Super Bowl commercial, so you can lock that one in now. But I'll get you the rest of mine over the next few days so we can get it out for the big game.
Yeah.
Love it, Ace.
Ace and Tony, real quick, we're going to have the card getting released Saturday at noon. So just over a day before the big game. So maybe even Saturday around 3. I'll announce an official time on the Instagram story. But if you can have your picks in by Saturday, that'd be great.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Have a good one, brother. Thanks for joining us.
See you, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Later, boys.
Thank you very much, Ace. See you soon.
See you, boys.
Great segment about the Super Bowl with our guests, Ace and Tony. Really happy to have them on. Hoping to have them back here after the Super Bowl sometime for some March Madness and different talk. Huff's going to expand on that. Take it away, Huff.
Yeah, obviously, as we know, the Super Bowl being this Sunday, that's the last football game of the year. After the NFL season, obviously, this has been Majority of the podcast has been all about the NFL with some hints at some hockey talk and basketball talk throughout the season so far. Being predominantly football, I just want to make an announcement as the season comes to an end. This podcast is not going to be coming to an end, and going into later end of February and March, we're definitely going to be talking some NHL, some NBA, and obviously everyone knows what goes on in March. March Madness, some college basketball action. We'll be looking at some of those plays and kind of recapping what's going on in the world of each of those specific leagues. I'm excited to, kind of show you guys that it's not just all about football for us. We're just true sports fans. I can sit down and watch any of the 4 major sports and have a great time watching some NHL right now. So it's really not all about football. You got to do what you got to do whenever the football season comes to an end. But obviously when the NFL comes back, we'll be doing the same kind of way that we've been doing things all season with the NFL, predominantly NFL, even sprinkling some college football in there. As stuff happens in the offseason in the NFL, we're definitely going to be recapping that with the free agency and trades and things like that. Obviously, the NFL draft, we'll be talking about that. But, that's really it. Just wanted to let everyone know as football comes to an end, this podcast will not. We are going to take another week after the Super Bowl to have another little bye week for us, but after that, in 2 weeks from this episode releasing, we'll have another one coming back out. We're going to be starting to, like I said, get into the NHL, NBA, and even some college basketball recap. As we get into those plays, as the nights we record, it's tough to give out a pick on the night we record because obviously we have to edit the podcast and things like that. So that's going to be where you want to start to follow us on the social medias if you're not already. At Hit the Books on basically all social media platforms. The 2 I recommend more than any for the actual pick format is Instagram and TikTok for the TikToks and the Instagram Reels for the picks that we're giving out. But as we get into college basketball and the plays are a little more smaller school and things like that, or even towards March Madness where there's a lot more plays, definitely going to want to follow us on Twitter. Same thing, at hitthebooks.pod. Be tweeting out the picks and as we get later on in the college basketball NBA season. So yeah, I'm excited to see where this podcast goes after football, but it's definitely tough to see football leave as it's America's game. I don't care what anyone says about baseball. It's America's game. So it's always a tough NFL offseason with no football, but got a lot of things to look forward to, being the Cup final, the NBA finals, and like I said, March Madness. So yeah, that's really all I got to say. Thanks for listening all season. 22 episodes in the books. No pun intended, but yeah, we're coming at our 22nd episode here. So first season on the pod, I feel like we definitely grew as a podcast coming from episode 1 all the way up to 22. If you listen back to episode 1 and listen to this episode or the past couple episodes, the change and the growth throughout us talking over the mic and things like that has definitely grown. And I think there's only one way and one direction for this podcast to go, and that's up. So definitely excited to see where we go from here.
Yeah, boys, it's been a hell of a year with the past 22 weeks. We jumped into this not really knowing what we were going to do, but it's definitely turned out to be something special. So thanks for supporting us throughout the year, and as we move into March Madness and, we'll keep doing NHL, maybe some MLB when it comes back. We'll keep the picks coming. We'll keep the podcast coming. So just bear with us here and while the NFL season's at a pause.
You guys said it really good. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's have a good Super Bowl here and keep the content coming. Thanks for joining us. And that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Hit the Books Podcast. Be sure to check us out on our various social media platforms. Instagram at hitthebooks.pod, Twitter at hitthebooks_pod, website at hitthebookspod.com for all the latest on Hit the Books. And be sure to always study hard.
Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.